A single mother's home builder dependency. Let's have a look at this mortgage sob story. Hello everyone, Florian here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee, and as I've mentioned many times before, we're going to start seeing more reports in the media about people just doing it tough with their mortgage, about having borrowed too much, or in this case, being dependent on the government Homebuilder grant and blaming them. So if it wasn't for that, I never would have gotten it. Now, I want to go through these articles and discuss them, not to make fun of the poor people in these terrible situations, but the messaging needs to be that, we need to learn that being dependent on the government, that taking their bribes or their kickbacks is not the answer, or that trusting the Reserve Bank when they say they won't raise rates is foolish. There needs to be an emphasis on financial independence so you don't have reliance on these other bodies, and so you realize when they're trying to manipulate you. Because that's what they're doing, everyone. Our government, both sides, use housing as a way to stimulate the economy. They didn't introduce Homebuilder to make you all feel good or to help the poor, struggling people get into a house. No, they did it to keep money flowing through the economy to counter the drastic damage they were doing due to all their lockdowns and impositions on our freedoms to address the pandemic. Now, it's another argument if you think that's worth it or not, but the economic damage and the people that are getting their lives destroyed is, it's clearly evident, and this is an example of that. I want to make sure we realize where this is coming from. Let's have a look here. This is how the government came to the rescue. You've got the cash rate, at 0.1%, insanely low target, and now people are all stressing as it's going up. I did, and many other viewers have also. We locked in once you had a 1 in front of those mortgages. I could never see it happening again. I could only see it really going up because, our Reserve Bank governor was quite clear he wasn't a fan of negative rates. So that was really the only way you were betting. Honestly, you were thinking, maybe they'll go negative. And, in some parts in Europe, they have gone negative and people are getting paid for having mortgages, although I can't see that happening in Australia. So here's the thing. People borrowed a lot of money. Some of them borrowed too much, and some of them were suckered in by Homebuilder. Now, you can see here on this chart here, that spike in the light blue line on the bottom right of the chart is showing you the surge in building approvals, in house building approvals that came from Homebuilder. Now, whenever you have a surge in work like that, the market overheats. People have trouble getting staff. Then if you add onto that as well, supply issues due to shipping costs skyrocketing, and then manufacturers in China being shut down, power production being shut down in Europe. What do you reckon is going to happen? Everything is also getting more expensive. And they say, it's getting more expensive. We better lift those rates. Then all those people that were sucked in with the 5 and 2% government guarantees or were depending on Homebuilder to get their project finished, which isn't much money. When you're talking about a house, this example, when you're talking about a house, 15 grand in Homebuilder is not much. You need to have a contingency for any build job that you do. So, we've got to remember, guys, this is because of government intervention in the market. It's not natural. And we're paying the price. So let's look. Nothing left. A mum's bank account emptied from interest rate hike. An Aussie single mum has $0 and 0 cents left in her bank account after having her hopes and dreams ripped away from her. A single mum's dream of becoming a homeowner has become more like a nightmare as she struggles to survive amid the rising costs of living. And it's just going to get worse. Jodie Cameron, 40, from Melbourne, currently has nothing in her bank account after building her home cost more than expected. She can't even afford to complete the house, with her driveway unfinished because she ran out of cash. The house is too big. It was probably too big. This is another problem here. Everything costs so much, like all the headworks, charges, the hoops you got to jump through. It makes sense to build a bigger house. It makes sense to build a 4-bedroom house than a 2-bedroom house. Developers won't build the small ones anymore. You never see them. They're only old. And for many people, back in the day, you used to buy a little 2-bedder and then extend it as your family grew or moved to a different place. Now here, every new development, it's a specky 4-bed, family room, entertainment room, living room, alfresco dining, double car garage, the things with some stud frames stuck up with, bloody cladding, polyurethane or polystyrene sometimes with the dodgy builders stuck to the outside and a bit of render. And you got no yard, you got no trees, you're getting a huge thermal load. Then the NCC also makes you close up the building like a bloody thermal box, when back in the day you just opened windows and let the breeze go through the building. What do you think's better for the environment, air conditioning or not? Anyway, that's another issue here. When you've got all these other costs associated with it, you can't really build these cheaper ones. And the only thing you can get then really cheap are the apartments. And we've seen all the construction issues there as well. On Tuesday afternoon, she was hit with more bad news. The Reserve Bank of Australia had increased interest rates again for the 4th month in a row. It means a single mum with 2 daughters aged 4 and 8 must now fork out an extra $140 each month to pay back her mortgage. In total, since the central bank started increasing interest rates in May, the family is now paying back an extra $360 a month. Money it desperately needs, yeah. So they're too close to the edge. They are too close to the edge. It's just horrible, she told news.com.au. I do find myself in a situation where paying rent and a mortgage and daycare fees, there's nothing left. Wait, so she hasn't even moved into the house yet? She hasn't moved into the house yet. Is that... If you don't have a driveway, you move in. Who cares? Don't be so precious. Okay? Shit, move in. Currently, her saving account stands at $0. The mum worked throughout the COVID pandemic as a disability support worker and blames her current predicament on one thing: missing out on a government grant. That's not the takeaway here. If 15 grand in a house build is enough for it, it's not enough. How much is a driveway going to cost? Okay? A driveway ain't cheap. Trust me, concrete is expensive. You need to have a contingency sum. You need to have your amount of money for your build and then 5% out of the contract just as an emergency contingency sum. We couldn't even get any of the grants with the work we're doing here. We thought about it, but that would mean we'd have to engage a builder. And we want to owner build it. Partly because we're architects and we want to get our hands dirty because it's useful for us as a professional to know how the stuff we build actually gets built. But this is much too close to it. You shouldn't be dependent on the government grants. This is the problem here. This is the problem with Homebuilder. People have bought projects from the future forward under the guise of thinking these grants were going to make it viable, when it should have just been a bonus. And the grants, if anything, they overheated the housing market insanely. They drove up demand, so prices went up. So, I just wanted my own house, she explained. Yeah, and I can completely understand that. Completely understand that you want a stable environment for your kids. It's just disgusting. It's so frustrating. I worked my guts out. All I wanted was the great Australian dream. Her variable interest rates have gone up from 2.79% to 4.5% in the past 3 months, and is set to go up further after the rate hike on Tuesday. I mean, here's the thing. I've saw some people suggesting in the comments that she rents out a room. Now, you're going to have a hard time renting out a room in a house without a driveway because people won't do it. I remember we were renting a little Queenslander in Brisbane, and we wanted to rent out the entry space, and it was you could see between the floorboards to the outside, and we brought someone in to have a look, and it was like $80 or $60 a week we wanted, and she was shocked the idea of even living in a space like that. Couldn't believe it. So Rachel and I moved in there. We stuck the double bed where the front door would be, And we rented out the master bedroom to someone else. That's how, living as students, we got our rent down to $50 a week each, or something stupid. That, yeah, really low, really low. But maybe I'm just from a different age now. I'm getting older, aren't I? I'm not on a fixed mortgage. I don't know how I'm going to do this, Miss Cameron said. I'm probably going to have to pull my youngest daughter out of daycare because I can't afford daycare. That also means how I'm meant to work from home with a child. It's difficult to do. You're going to have to find a way to do it. Wait, so she's working from home already and putting the kid in daycare? I mean, this is why there's additional challenges when you're a single parent for either side. It's a lot easier with Rachel and I, where there's two of us, there's a team. We can divide and conquer, even with 6 kids. As a single mum with no family to fall back on, that's the real problem right here. She's got no support network. She's resigned herself to renting, but in 2020 was given the hope that she might be able to break into the property market. Okay, so they screwed her. The government screwed her. The federal government announced the Homebuilder grant scheme in a bid to boost the economy and the building sector during the COVID disruptions, where eligible homeowners, well, no, it's not homeowners, I guess, receive $15,000 to form part of the payment for a building project for their primary residence. Ms. Cameron met all the criteria of the grant, supported a $263,000 block of land in Langland, a regional town southeast of Melbourne, in August 2020, in the hopes of setting herself up financially for the future. I got on the low deposit scheme. I didn't need a massive deposit, she explains. So, the low deposit scheme got her into the market. She didn't even have a deposit. She couldn't manage to get that together because, well, its cost of living is so bloody insane. You can't blame people. And then the grant probably fell through. But here the article is framed to blame the government. Well, in a way, yeah, we should blame the government for artificially getting her into the market. She wasn't ready. That's just the way. She didn't have enough buffers to deal with the bullshit that can happen on these things. In March the following year, she signed a build contract which cost $300,000 for a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. I mean, see, this is what I'm talking about here, guys. A 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house for $300,000. There's 3 of them. Okay, you need 2 bedrooms. Okay, all you need is 2 bedrooms. You could even get away with a 1-bedroom place with the 3 girls. Okay, mum in a bed, the kids in a bunk bed. Or worst case, they all share the same bed. But I get people don't want to do that in Australia. You know, and is it unreasonable? Well, I guess it would be unreasonable to build something like that because no one would want to buy it. They would hate the idea of having to extend. But $300,000 is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. It'd be smarter to build a 2-bed, 1-bath house for a lot cheaper and then extend it as you need it. That would be it, and cut your mortgage in half there, or that cost in half. She only needed a 5% down payment for the land and the build contracts and was expecting the extra $15,000 from the grant to help provide a buffer to afford the progress payments. Oh. But then she logged back onto the Homebuilder online portal and was devastated to discover she'd missed a key due date, which her broker and bank had never mentioned to her. I missed a portal cutoff date that was never shown or advertised anywhere, she lamented. As a result, she was not able to be part of the scheme. Near the end of her build, the mum ran out of funds and couldn't afford to pay for a driveway. I've got no driveway, it's just mud. We'll go to a landscaper, get a trailer, and get some gravel, and just put the gravel on there. Just do that. I can't afford it. It's not nice to have the money you relied on ripped away from you, she said. Well, you shouldn't rely on the government. It's all bullshit. They inflated the cost of your build anyway. I owe the real estate the last month's rent, which I can't pay. I assumed I would have this 15 grand to help me out. I don't have it. This grant meant a lot. The mum is now waiting with bated breath as the RBA is expected to keep hiking rates until the end of the year. Let's have a talk about this one. What do you reckon, guys? I mean, what can you do in this situation? This is lack of experience on her part. She trusted the banks, she trusted the brokers, and you can't blame people for trusting the professionals they're dealing with. But, I mean, a normie isn't going to be able to sue a broker or a bank. Not in a million years. They're gonna piss away years and years bitching and moaning to the ACCC, ASIC, or politicians, and it won't achieve anything for them. It'll only be future generations that might get burdened with more requirements. I mean, depending on the grant, I mean, you think you're going to get it, but why would you sign anything until you were sure you had it? Till you checked all the dates. We're going to see more of these stories, guys. It comes down to financial literacy and, well, learning from these experiences. I'm worried it's going to be calls for more government intervention. That you'll have the shared equity swooping in and the government buying 40% of the single mother's house to come to the rescue. What do you reckon? Anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one. Do you think people are going to realize what the real mistake is here? That it's all artificial. She wasn't ready to get into the housing market. And, well, in a way, the government is to blame because they juiced the market. This is the price. Was it worth it, guys? Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one in the comments below. If you're a fan and want to support the channel, there are a few ways you can. Financially via YouTube or Patreon. You can use our referral links from Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. You can buy our pocket squares. Call us if you need an architect. And take care. I'll see you all next time. I hope this lady sorts it out. She may have to sell. Which isn't the end of the world. She may make a profit.